So today's topic is annular or figure eight erythema. Annular or figure eight erythema is a descriptive term which is used for number of chronic disorders characterized by annular and erythematous skin eruption. In all these disorders, the clinical appearance is similar, but etiologies are very different. And the disorders which we are going to discuss today are annular erythema of infancy, necrolytic migratory erythema, annular erythema annuli centrifugum, erythema gyratum repens, erythema migrans, and erythema marginatum, and subacute cutaneous LE. So first one is annular erythema of infancy. So there is a doubt whether annular erythema of infancy is a distinct disorder or is it a variety of erythema annuli centrifugum occurring in younger individuals. The clinical appearance is similar to erythema annuli centrifugum. Individual lesions last from 2 to several days, and there may be a cyclic pattern of new lesions appearing every 5 to 6 weeks. It is self-limiting, and no associated systemic symptoms. Autosomal dominant inheritance is described. The appearance is typically same as that of erythema annuli centrifugum, and histology is also similar. Usually the histology in all annular erythema is similar, which is mainly characterized by perivascular sleeve-like lymphohistiocytic infiltrate. There have been reports of prominent eosinophilic infiltrate along with peripheral blood eosinophilia. This eosinophilic infiltrate is not seen in erythema annuli centrifugum. Heavy intestinal colonization with Candida, EB, or Malassezia infection have been documented. Clinical features: polycyclic annular erythematous plaque that expand up to 2 to 3 millimeter per day with central clearing. Face, trunk, and proximal limb self-limiting. Investigation include macroscopy and culture of skin scraping, anti-nuclear antibodies, double-stranded DNA, extractable nuclear antigen. ये सारी की सारी इसलिए कर रहे हैं कि हम इसको neonatal LE से differentiate करना चाहते हैं. So this is the neonatal LE is also have a similar appearance. Treatment ladder. First line is that any associated infection should be treated. Second line, topical corticosteroid. Third line, topical tacrolimus. Usually infancy में आप tacrolimus जब देंगे, you will give 0.03%, not 0.1%. Now, erythema annuli centrifugum. This is a prototype of all annular or figure eight erythema. It is characterized by annular polycyclic erythematous. Polycyclic means multiple cyclic rings. Erythematous plaques with scaling behind the advancing border. This is important. Scaling behind the advancing border. The central area flattens and fades. Lesion may extend up to 2 to 3 millimeter per day, producing archiform segments. Lesion can be solitary, can be multiple, last for a few days to months or years. Itching is variable. Commonest site are buttock, thigh, upper arms, but any area may be involved, and purpura and pigmentation is rarely seen. So you can see the multiple polycyclic lesions with annular and archiform appearance. So this is what is called as the scale trailing behind the advancing border. So the border extends further and scale is left behind. You should just remember this appearance because this appearance is seen in most of the annular erythemas. Two types of gyrate erythemas is superficial, which is pruritic and scaling, and deep non-pruritic and non-scaling. Any age, no gender bias. EAC is a reactive process precipitated by drugs or malignancy, but concurrent infection is most common. So again, here it is EB, Epstein-Barr virus, which is also seen in annular erythema of infancy, bacterial like Streptococcus, E. coli, mycobacterial, fungal, dermatophytes, and parasitic. Number of systemic diseases like thyroid and liver may be associated. Erythema annuli scientificum may be variable duration lasting from for days to decades. Mean is 2.8 years. Reported causes: bacterial infection, viral infection. Bacterial infection mainly Mycobacterium, Strep, and E. coli. Viral infection mainly EB. Fungal infection Candida and dermatophytes. Parasitic Ascaris and Thyris pubis. Drugs can also cause like ampicillin, chloroquine, cimetidine, cotrimoxazole. Endocrine, autoimmune progesterone dermatitis, hyperthyroidism, and pregnancy. Certain neoplasm and autoimmune diseases like Ehrlich and Sjogren syndrome. This is a typical appearance of all the annular erythema. The prototype is erythema annuli centrifuga. And you can see the cold sleep pattern of lymphocytic infiltrate surrounding the blood vessel. And papillodermal edema while deeper. The superficial portion of type of erythema annuli will be associated with parakeratosis, but deep type will not be associated with parakeratosis. Usually the eosinophils are not present here, which were present in annular erythema of infancy. If present, then we have to rule out the parasitic causes. Fungal infection is the commonest cause and culture should be done. Biopsy of the lesion may be required. Additional investigation include blood count, liver and thyroid function, abnormal ultrasound, and abdominal ultrasound and chest X-ray. Anti-nuclear antibody profile because SLE is also associated. Abdominal ultrasound because liver and thyroid diseases are associated. Then ACE level, HIV serology, PET scan for malignancies. Treatment is usually moderately potent or potent topical steroids or topical calcipotriol. Second line, topical tacrolimus or phototherapy. Third line, chloroquine or systemic corticosteroids. Then the third type of annular erythema is erythema gyratum repens. Again, a distinctive variety characterized by wood grain appearance. It is considered to be a paraneoplastic dermatosis. This is a term which is used for all the skin conditions which are related to cancers or malignancies. 80% of cases are associated with some underlying malignancy, particularly the lung cancer. Other cancers include esophagus, breast, bowel, uterus, cervix, kidney, and pancreas. Bowel and pancreas and uterus and cervix, esophagus and kidneys. More recently, erythema gyratum repens like eruption has been reported in association with PRP, psoriasis, and ichthyosis. Age more than 40, mean 63, mainly because it is associated with malignancy, male to female 2:1 ratio, predominantly in white. Treatment of cancer may result in clearance of the eruption, and tumoral recurrence result in recurrence or relapse of the condition. Regular wave of erythema is spread over the body to produce series of concentric figurate band in pattern resembling the grain of wood. Peripheral scale or collarette may be present. Limb usually start, then torso may be present. The usually changing in about 1 centimeter, rapid change in size. Hyperkeratosis of palm occur in 10% of the cases. So these are the ring within the rings. Histology is again characterized by hyperkeratosis, acanthosis, spongiosis, and mild perivascular lymphocytic infiltrate. We have to exclude the causes of malignancies like full blood count, biochemistry, anti-nuclear profile, chest X-ray, mammogram, cervical smear, prostate, CT scan, thyroid, abdomen and pelvis, endoscopy or colonoscopy. So if we find this pathology, then we have to exclude all the possible malignancies. For the condition, treat the underlying disease, and once the underlying disease is treated, the condition is resolved automatically. Then comes the next disease, the fourth one. It is erythema marginatum, also called as erythema marginatum rheumaticum. It is annular and sometimes polycyclic serpiginous eruption and mainly seen in rheumatic fever. So together with carditis, migratory polyarthritis, chorea and subcutaneous nodule, it is one of the Duckett-Jones major criteria for the diagnosis of rheumatic fever. It comes in the major criteria. However, it occurs only in 10% of patients with rheumatic fever. Since rheumatic fever is common in children, so it is common in 5 to 15 years of age. Other diseases include psittacosis and angioedema. Histological features are again similar, which is perivascular polymorphic eruption of neutrophils and mononuclear cells. Causative organism is predominantly associated with beta hemolytic streptococci. The lesions are non-pruritic and primarily involving the trunk and peripheral extremity. There is rapid extension 2 to 10 millimeter in 12 hours and may change within an hour, completely resolving and reappearing. Complication is rheumatic fever. The disease manifests as polyarthritis, carditis, chorea, and erythema marginatum, and or subcutaneous nodules. Carditis is, of course, the most serious complication. So, in case you see this erythema marginatum rheumaticum, which is characterized by polycyclic lesions but very rapid change in size, shape. So then you should look for other criteria of rheumatic fever. Erythema marginatum is a part of a clinical syndrome for which no specific test exists. However, full blood count, urea electrolyte, liver, ESR, C-reactive, ferritin, throat swab, ASO titer, blood culture, ECG, echo, and skin biopsy. This will exclude the causes as well as the complications. Rheumatic fever is usually treated by aspirins or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. And sometimes we give penicillin and erythromycin if the cause is established. Then a very interesting syndrome, which is a necrolytic migratory erythema or glucagonoma syndrome. It is again a paraneoplastic syndrome associated with alpha cell pancreatic islet tumor or glucagonoma secreting glucagon, glucagonoma secreting tumor. The eruption may precede the diagnosis of glucagonoma by several years. This is important. And misdiagnosed as atypical eczematous eruption before the characteristic histopathological findings are identified. So the triad here is unusual dermatitis, which is necrolytic migratory erythema, recent onset diabetes, and weight loss. It may occur in setting of glucagon secreting tumors or in pseudoglucagonoma. With pancreatic insufficiency, celiac disease, intestinal malabsorption syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease, and myelodysplastic syndrome. Incidence is low. Median age of diagnosis is high, 53.5, and range is 19 to 84. Male and female are equally affected for pathophysiology. The condition is possibly due to amino acid deficiency, particularly histidine and tryptophan, causing high glucagon levels by intestinal protein loss or malabsorption. Either the proteins are lost, amino acids are lost because of malabsorption or because of amino acid deficiency by itself. The skin changes disappear after complete surgical removal of the tumor and correction of malabsorption. Here you can see the central cleared area and the active border studded with pustules. So annular lesions in intratragenous area. You can confuse now here with pustular psoriasis or AGEP. In extensive conditions, there will be intense erythema in this groin-like distribution. So now here it is confused with candidiasis. Histology. Necrolytic migratory erythema, as the name signifies, characterized by necrosis. It shows parakeratosis, epidermal vacuolation, and pallor of keratinocytes. Sometimes there is extensive vasoagulation and epidermal, intraepidermal splitting. This is a well-developed subcorneal blistering. So blistering is common here. The triad is recent onset diabetes, weight loss, and unusual dermatitis. Weight loss is seen in 67%. Anemia in 33%, glucose intolerance in 56%, diarrhea in 20%. Venous thrombosis 10%. Usually present as a non-specific itchy or tender usually a non-specific itchy or tender macular eruption with predilection of groin, genitals, and buttocks. Later on, centrifugal extension, annular erythematous eruption with crusted edges, itchy, burning, and painful. So this appearance is different from other annular erythema. That is, here the lesions are not scaly but crusted, pustular regions, and eczematous or psoriasiform appearance is also seen. Necrolytic acral erythema is a subtype of this erythema. It is a clinical variant and present as well-demarcated acral, mainly hands and feet, but also seen forearm, knees, and lower leg. Dusky discoloration with peripheral blistering formation and progressing to keratolytic erythrokeratoderma like chronic inflammation. Usually it is associated with zinc deficiency and hepatitis C. Coming back to necrolytic migratory erythema, 50% of patients are secondary to glucagonoma and have a metastatic disease to liver, renal, and cervical lymph nodes at the time of diagnosis. Median survival of such cases is low, 66 months in one group. Skin changes resolve completely after removal of the tumor. So investigation also depends upon investigating this pancreatic tumor. Blood count, biochemistry, glucose, serum glucagon level, skin biopsy, ultrasound, CT scan chest and abdomen, PET scan, celiac axis angiography, and single photon emission CT. Somatostatin receptor imaging using inoctite is also useful. First line is surgery. But surgery is rarely possible because of metastatic disease. Second line is somatostatin. Polypeptide produced by GI pancreatic cells and inhibit the release of hormones such as glucagon. Long-acting somatostatin analogs, lenalidomide and octreotide, provides good control of the symptoms. Third line is chemotherapy with 5-fluorouracil, dacarbazine, streptomycin, and doxorubicin. Embolization, peptide receptor radioligand therapy, everolimus, and sunitinib. Then erythema chronicum migrans, which is part of Lyme's disease. Lyme disease, you all know, is a tick-borne zoonotic disease caused by the bite of Ixodes tick. And by the bite of this tick, it inoculates spirochetes, Borrelia burgdorferi within the body, within the skin. The characteristic eruption of erythema chronica migrans develop at the site of the bite. So usually in such annular erythema, there will be a punctum, central or a punctum within the annular ring. Dissemination of infection may cause disease of nervous system, heart and joints. Patients usually live close to or have visited woodlands, where small mammals are necessary host for immature stage of the tick. Infection occur at any time of the year, but it is mostly in early summer. Any age, both gender. 90% of patients, the ECM, erythema chronica migrans, develop at the site of the bite. Eruption appear in 1 to 36 days, usually in ring formation and large at a rate of several centimeters per week. Slight scaling is occasionally seen. If untreated, lesion fades usually within few weeks, but may last to 1 to 14 months, 1 day to 14 months. Regional lymphadenopathy and mild constitutive system may be seen. 50% of patients have arthritis, 18% has neural involvement, and 10% has heart disease. Other symptoms are joint pain, myositis, conjunctivitis, hepatitis. So very faint erythema. And here you can see somewhere a punctum. Acrodermatitis chronica atropicans and late cutaneous manifestation usually occur years later. Acrodermatitis chronica atropicans. This condition occurs years later and it resembles morphia or scleroderma. Typical signs are hand, feet, and elbow. Confirmation of Borrelia burgdorferi infection is mainly by serology. So main test is ELISA or indirect immunofluorescent or Western blot. PCR is increasingly used now as a diagnostic tool. Biopsy shows superficial and deep perivascular lymphocytic infiltrate, and Wharton starry stain identifies spirochetes in 40% of the cases. So the picture is similar to erythema annulare centrifuge. Eosinophil is seen in early phases. Lymphocytes are often present in lower part of the epidermis, which is a useful clue here. First line is doxycycline and amoxicillin. Second line is cefuroxime and erythromycin. So the last topic is subacute cutaneous lupus erythematosus. It is a subset of lupus exhibiting mainly cutaneous disease and carries a good prognosis. Antibodies to Rho and Rho is closely associated with this group. It is usually photoaggravated and associated with limited degree of systemic involvement. Half patient will fulfill ARA criteria of SLE, and arthritis is most frequent features of seen in subacute cutaneous LE. Again, like SLE, it is predominantly seen in female. Antibodies to Rho is mainly seen. Ultraviolet exposure lead to increased synthesis and subsequent expression of Rho. Usually it is labeled as ANA negative lupus, as of these individuals often exhibit negative autoimmune serology. Anticardiolipin occur in 16%, high percentage. Drugs which are associated with subacute cutaneous LE is thiazide, riboflavin, terbinafine, calcium channel, tamoxifen, ACE, etanercept, infliximab, and carbamazepine. Clinical features. characterized by non-scarring papillosquamous eruption or annular polycyclic lesion. Lesion occur at base, particularly around the neck, trunk, and outer aspect of arm. Border may show vesiculation and crusting. Diffuse non-scarring alopecia and photosensitivity may be seen. This is a typical appearance of subacute cutaneous LE, and you can see this appearance is very similar to any other annular erythema. So this comes in the differential diagnosis of annular erythemas. Histology, there is epidermal atrophy and perivascular and band-like chronic infiltrate. The main feature is the interface dermatitis or hydropic degeneration of basal layer, along with lymphocytic infiltrates in the perivascular. You can see the colloid bodies here. Over 3-year period, 18% of patients with cutaneous LE develop systemic symptomatology. 12.2 progresses to SLE by average 8 years. DD includes dermatomyositis and all the other annular erythema. So the management, mainly first line is for sunscreens and intralesional corticosteroid and topical tacrolimus and tacrolimus. Second line, anti-malarial. Third line, oral corticosteroids, acitretin, isotretinoin, dapsone. Intravenous methotrexate or subcutaneous methotrexate. Thalidomide, UVA, long-term, mycophenolate, mofetil, etanercept. So all the steroids and anti-cancer treatment. So that's all for today. So in summary, all the annular erythemas, they are characterized by annular skin lesions, which can be polycyclic, and usually their scales lag behind the advancing body. In necrolytic acral erythema, the border is studded with pustules, while in other there are only scaling. The lesions can be polycyclic. All the diseases included here are primarily characterized by superficial and deep sleeve-like perivascular lymphocytic infiltrate. Etiology is different. Two of the conditions like erythema gyratum repens and necrolytic migratory erythema are paraneoplastic disorders. Erythema marginatum rheumaticum is associated with rheumatic fever. Erythema chronic migrans is associated with Lyme's disease. Subacute cutaneous LE comes in the syndrome of SLE. And erythema annulare centrifugum has a long list of etiologies, including bacterial, fungal, viral, drugs, and autoimmune. So any question regarding this, although not a very difficult topic, any questions regarding this lecture? So no question, so we finish it today.